But let me tell you, if there's a slide that's going to rock them off their feet, it's this one. We studied 200 people that had bought a property and asked them, showing different size ads, what they thought the value of the property was in different size ads. And this is what the research showed, that between a quarter page to a half page, they saw a 24% increase in perceived value. That in a quarter page to a full page, they saw 46% difference. So what you'll say to the vendors is, Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, I would hate to confuse the market to think that your $1.2 million property is only worth $800,000 by actually going too small. That slide works because it is evidence-based marketing. And I'd like to remind you that everyone likes to buy, but no one wants to be sold. So the way that you should market vendor-paid advertising is the trusted advisor way. Show them all the options, ask them which looks better, show them the research, and then get them to pick. Who likes that slide? Get a show of hands. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to tell you how you can get that slide, because let me tell you, in Queensland, we've got officers that are rocking vendors at listing presentations. They absolutely love it, because now it's not the agent saying it, it's now clear independent research saying it. Guys, girls, I've shown this slide before, and you know, I've got to tell you that, you know, the night before my auction, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I could potentially be $100,000 or $200,000 richer the next day, or $100,000, $200,000 poorer the next day, right? The worst part about it is, if it's your family home, it's tax-free. So on that day, and I remember talking to John Webster, the general manager of Courier Cumberland, the day before my auction. And he said, oh, if you're lucky, you might get an extra 50. And then as I drove off, I thought, it's not extra 50. It's really extra 100. Because that $50,000 that you get in your family home, you've got to earn 100 at work. And that night, when I sat down with my wife to work out what was going to be our bottom line figure, you know what made a big difference? The fact that we'd invested $14,000 in marketing. I said to myself, man, we've done everything. We had skin in the game. We were committed. And my wife said, Tom, whatever we get tomorrow is the price we're going to get, because it's been advertised everywhere. So think about it. Think about the vendor that doesn't put skin in the game, that doesn't go the full marketing. Is there a possibility that that vendor the night before is thinking, well, if we don't get our price, we might advertise it a little bit more. We might take bigger ads. So that's why when the research we did showed that when vendors invest in print marketing, they've got skin in their game. They're basically financially and emotionally connected to the sale, versus someone who potentially is held back a little bit and have basically said, you take the risk with your time and money, and if it doesn't work out, we may get serious down the track. That's the difference. I love that slide, because this slide here says to a vendor that says to you, but can't you just try internet only for about a couple of weeks and see how we go? You know, some people's response is, yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. Some people's response is, well, we can do that, but would you like the first buyer or would you like the best buyer? And by the way, when we research where our buyers come from, a third of the buyers actually say that they saw it in print first. So if we do it, I've got no problems, but please, Mr. and Mrs. Vendor, in 2 weeks' time, when I get an offer, don't look me in the eyes and ask me, is that the best we're going to get? Because if you're going to ask me that, I am sort of going to be in a position where I'm going to half lie to you, because I'll never know, because I've never gone the full hog. And I'm only recommending to you to do what I do myself. James Dack, I love James Dack. You know, I think he's just he's an awesome agent, and this guy consistently has been a strong agent for a long time. And I remember him saying that once, that, you know, he pushes, I'm only recommending to you what I do myself. You know, I'm not coming up with some guinea pig plan for you. Guys, we've always pushed this video for whatitsworth.com.au. I suggest that you get your vendors to go to the online version. It's free. It's so much easier to do a listing presentation to a vendor after they've seen this, because we've got research on that video that says you need to pick a good agent. And by the way, you know what our research, actually, let's go to this slide. I love this slide. Vendors look to newspapers to find agents. So vendors were asked, how did you go about selecting an agent to come to do a listing presentation to your house? And here's the responses. Personal referral, number one. Personal referral. Visited local agents in the area. They went out looking. Number three, they'd used them before. Number four, they looked in the newspaper to see which agents were most active. And the only reason that I've got that highlighted in red is I wanted to emphasise it. But in addition, that, you know what? It's actually a process that you can control. And do you know why I actually think you can control? Because why is it that in the one real estate office, you'll have one real estate agent that collects $600,000 in vendor paid advertising, and one real estate agent that collects $20,000 a year in vendor paid advertising? It's not the office. It's not the weather. It's not the cubicle that they sit. It's not the interest rates. It is the person. One person is a 9 out of 10 at getting vendor paid advertising, and one person is a 1 out of 10 in getting vendor paid advertising. It's a skill thing, so it's a person thing. So to me, what's exciting is that there's someone sitting in this audience right now that could be a 2 out of 10, that is sitting in here, that's making 60 grand a year, that wakes up in the morning and they think to themselves, is this whole gig for me? Am I too smart? Have I got enough contacts? Am I in a shit area? Am I in a shit office? And the fact that if you decide over the next 3 months that what you're going to do is just increase your skill level to become an 8 or 9 out of 10, that all of a sudden you'll start getting momentum, that you'll get on the shopping list of future vendors, that vendors will pick you for listing presentations, that because you've got really good ads, they're going to start calling you, and before you know it, you're in a state of momentum, and before you know it, that you actually don't have any time to go do cold door knocking, because you're running what we know is the success formula in real estate, and that is the attraction business. I can tell you, I've been travelling for 8 years around the country talking to real estate agents, and I haven't met a real estate agent that's writing $1 million a year in commission over that goes out and does cold calling every day. Full stop. But I've met so many real estate agents, Michael Kaloshi, Judy Goodyear, Paul Curtin, that what they've done is they have built an attraction business. They have people calling them because they've got momentum. And you know what? They're getting the today vendors, the vendors that are making decisions today. They're not getting the vendors that you door knock that says, yes, put me in your database, we'll stay in contact, 2 years down the track, we're coming on the market. Oh, by the way, I'm still calling 2 or 3 other agents in anyway. I mean, don't think just because you door knock them that they're exclusively yours.